I love that you've got your design files that are shareable for other designers to maybe learn from. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
because we are open source, we are able to put all of this out in public domain, and that's been one of the good things.
Yeah.
Uh, so we have two design systems in Appsmith which are public. One is the design system which is used by our users to build the apps that they need.
Hmm.
And so this is the design system that's for that. It has these common components, buttons. It also has a has an has sort of a simple explanation of why we've done certain things. And so you have components like uh, this is like a menu button. Then you have the table component, which is probably one of the more complicated components in Appsmith. Let me just find that.
And I'm curious, I see what looks like sticky notes. Like, are there functional notes somewhere for all the components or just, just like this works this way?
So we do have a Notion doc where this is better documented, but the sticky
Okay.
notes are mostly for people who are just looking at the file and they're just trying to understand immediately what the decisions are.
Mm.
But otherwise, this a lot of the documentation lives in Notion as well as GitHub for us.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. And so where do the developers go um, to access components? Is that GitHub?
no, so developers they use Figma, but we've also just started using Zeppelin as our handoff tool. I would say most people still use Figma uh, for looking at the components. For a design system, we are in the process of setting up Storybook. We have some components living
Oh,
in
okay.
Storybook,
Mm-hmm.
which also integrates with Figma really well. But it's not a lot of components there yet because we are just
Yeah.
in the process of doing that.
And
But
why, may I ask, why use Zeppelin? Why are some designers using Zeppelin instead of sending people directly to Figma?
So one of the problems in Figma is the fact that you often don't know when a change has happened and you don't know where the change has occurred. All you know is that there's a change that has happened. Versus in case of Zeppelin, the versioning helps. So a
Okay.
developer knows what change has occurred, but where exactly it has occurred.
Yeah.
They don't need to go looking for it and they don't need
Uh-huh.
to go read a document for it. So that's the biggest reason why we've started using Zeppelin.
Okay. And then, so how are you incorporating Storybook?
So the main reason we are using Storybook is because you can have React components and the Figma file right there. So you can do a quick QA just visually looking at it. So that's why we are using Storybook because
Okay.
that's where the code components can live,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also embed the Figma file. Now, will we continue to use Zeppelin after we have that? I'm I don't know.
Mm.
We still need to figure that out. But as of today, it's a mix of Zeppelin. Some designers still use Figma for handoffs, and hopefully once Storybook goes live and is fully adopted, our workflow might change a little bit.
Okay. So is that the goal is Storybook might be where handoffs happen? Or is that only at a component level?
I think it's only going to be at a component level, at
Okay.
a but not for the full feature itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. So what was the other? GitHub. How are you incorporating GitHub?
Uh, so so with GitHub, the most the main thing that it helps us with is the fact that you have a deploy preview for every single piece of code that's checked in, and that's why we use GitHub. So let me just show you a quick example. So here we have a new pull request by a developer, and uh, it's linked to the issue. If we go to the issue, it actually this, for example, has been created by one of our designers. The requirements, the user stories, the developer experience, all of that is listed here, and then the developer handoff file is listed here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the documentation uh, is all is all listed here. And if you go to the pull request, we can actually see there's a preview. There's a preview that was automatically generated 4 hours ago. So I can click it and I'll be able to test out this version of code.
Mm.
And I don't need to talk to the developer to do that. I don't need to set up anything on my machine to check out code. I can
Mm-hmm.
just check out the preview. So this is really useful.
And are you all using Jira? Like, would this be a link in the story or a task?
So we use ZenHub. We
Okay.
don't use Jira, but we use ZenHub because it integrates very tightly with GitHub, and
Okay.
it just helps us maintain a public project. Because
Oh,
all our, if you look at this, all of this is public. You
wow.
don't need a login to see any of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's all completely public. All our discussions are public, and uh, you know, this is Momchilo, one of our designers, who's just putting his design ideas and solutions up here. So all of these discussions are happening in public, and we often see users commenting on it.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's really wonderful because we have real feedback from our users.
Wow.
So I might actually find something here. Okay, I don't think this has a user, but uh, very recently we've had a lot of users just basically come in and comment about uh, the designs or about the actual execution. So those are some of the things that we've seen happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is really remarkable. I mean, on multiple levels. One that you're just like putting everything out in the open, and but also that what you get in return is more user feedback.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really that's really amazing. And I love sharing all of this early work our, with our developers. Yeah, I think this one is the one where we have a lot of a lot of user comments. Yeah, like
Mm.
5 days ago. Finally,
Mm-hmm.
I have some time to test this out, and they're able to test it out because of the deploy preview, and they're actually giving us feedback like looks good, which is wonderful to hear because it took us
Mm-hmm.
a long time to get this right.
Wow.
And yeah, and all
Yeah.
our conversations are in public, like updates from last week, everything is just publicly available. So users who are following this, and there are a lot of users who are waiting for this because these are all user upvotes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
Nice.
we have user advice as well, somebody advising us on how to implement this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these are all users.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this. I know that folks who are putting together design systems and in trying to figure out a way to or figure out how to make it most efficient for both designers and developers and other people who need to see it, product managers and there's sometimes other audience. Um, they're always looking for to see how's somebody else doing this. So this is awesome. Thank you.
yeah, that makes sense. And I'll email you our design system file links. If there's a place where you can share these links, that would be fine. Or you could just take a look at them and let us know how could
Yeah,
we improve our design system. So,
awesome.
uh, but it's all in the public domain, and sometime in the future we'll definitely write about it and share it more widely. Uh, but as of today, we've not had the time to focus on the community aspect of design yet.
Yeah. Well, this will definitely go up on our YouTube channel. I'm excited because it's incredibly useful. So
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for sharing.